The door flew open with a crack that echoed like a gunshot in the empty locker room. And there he was, Coach Nathan Hale, soaked from the downpour outside, his gray polo clinging to his chest like a second skin. I was half naked, towels slung low on my hips, the mirror fogged from my shower, but nothing could fog the heat that slammed into me harder than the Ohio rain. "Caleb," he growled, voice breaking like thunder, "we need to talk now," and in that fractured second, his eyes locked on mine, stripping away every layer we'd built between coach and player, mentor and kid, until all that remained was the man staring back at me, hungry and haunted. I stumbled back against the lockers, the cold metal biting into my spine, but it was his gaze that pinned me, fierce, unyielding, the kind that had driven our team to state championships but now carried something darker, something that twisted my gut with equal parts terror and thrill. Rain dripped from his dark hair, tracing paths down his jaw, and he didn't move to close the door, didn't care if the storm outside hurt us. "You've been avoiding me for weeks," he said, stepping closer, the air thick with the scent of wet earth and his cologne. "And I can't pretend anymore that it's just about the game." My heart hammered like it did before a fourth-quarter Hail Mary. But this wasn't football, this was the edge of something irreversible. Coach Nathan Hale had been the rock of Eldridge College for a decade, molding scrawny freshmen into gridiron warriors under the floodlights of that rusty stadium in the heart of Ohio's Rust Belt. At 22, I was his star quarterback, the golden boy with the arm that could thread a needle through a defense. But off the field, I was just Caleb Reed, the kid from the trailer park who'd clawed his way to a partial scholarship on sheer grit and dreams bigger than the cornfields surrounding our town. That night, after our brutal loss to the Riverton Hawks, our undefeated streak snapped like a brittle bone. The team had scattered like shrapnel. I lingered in the locker room, steam curling from the showers like ghosts of our defeat, trying to wash away the sting of that intercepted pass that cost us everything. My muscles ached, bruises blooming purple across my ribs, but it was the weight in my chest that kept me there, the unspoken glances I'd caught from Nathan all season. He'd push me harder than anyone, his hands lingering a beat too long on my shoulder pads during drills, his voice dropping low when he'd say, "You've got fire in you, kid. Don't let it burn out." Now, with the door half open to the raging storm, he was inches away, close enough that I could see the faint scar above his eyebrow from a college scrimmage gone wrong, the one he'd joked about over post-practice burgers. "Talk," I echoed, my voice cracking like a teenager's, though I'd left that phase behind. I yanked the towel tighter, heat flooding my face, not from embarrassment, but from the way his eyes traced the V of my hips, then snapped back up, guilty as sin. "About what? The game? We both know I fucked up that throw." He shook his head, water flicking off like accusations. "It's not the game, Caleb. It's you. Us." The word hung there, heavy as the championship ring on his finger, the one from his glory days at Ohio State, before he settled into this coaching gig, married the high school sweetheart, built the life everyone envied. But envy was a two-way street, and I'd spent too many nights scrolling his Instagram, zooming in on those family photos, wondering what it would be like to be the one he came home to. I swallowed hard, the lump in my throat tasting like regret. "Coach, you're married. To Sarah. With the kid on the way." It wasn't a question. It was a wall I threw up, but his flinch told me it landed like a blindside tackle. He raked a hand through his hair, pacing the wet tile like a caged lion. "Yeah. And every day I wake up wondering why the hell I said yes to that life when all I see in the mirror is a fraud. His voice broke, raw and ragged, and he stopped, facing me, close enough that our breaths mingled. You think I don't notice how you look at me during film sessions? How you push yourself to breaking just to hear me say, "Good job." The admission hit like lightning, electrifying every nerve. I wanted to deny it, to laugh it off as locker room bullshit. But my body betrayed me, the way my pulse thrummed, the heat pooling low despite the chill. "Nathan," I whispered, dropping the coach title like a forbidden spell, and his name on my lips made his eyes darken, pupils blowing wide. He stepped forward, one hand bracing the locker beside my head, caging me without touching, the heat of him a brand against my skin. "Don't," he murmured, but it was half plea, half prayer, and when his free hand ghosted my jaw, thumb brushing my stubble, I leaned into it like a man dying of thirst. The kiss, when it came, was apocalypse, fierce and fumbling, his lips tasting of rain and desperation, my hands fisting his shirt to pull him closer. We crashed together, boundaries shattering like the thunder outside, his body hard and unyielding against mine, every pent-up frustration pouring out in gasps and groans. But reality clawed back fast. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Sarah, probably, wondering where her husband was after the game. He jerked away, chest heaving, eyes wild with the war inside him. "Fuck," he hissed, backing toward the door. We can't." And then he was gone, swallowed by the storm, leaving me slumped against the lockers, towel discarded, heart in ruins, wondering if I'd just thrown the most important pass of my life. The next morning dawned gray and unforgiving, the kind of Ohio autumn that seeped into your bones. Practice was hell. Nathan barking orders from the sidelines, his voice clipped, eyes avoiding mine like I was a ghost. The team noticed. Jax, my wide receiver and best friend, clapped my shoulder pads too hard during warm-ups. "You good, QB? Look like you saw a poltergeist in the showers." I forced a grin, but it felt like glass in my mouth. "Just the loss, man." Shaking it off the field, though, the tension coiled tighter. I'd see him in the athletic center, poring over playbooks, his broad shoulders hunched like Atlas carrying the world. Once, in the empty weight room, our eyes met over the squat rack, and the air crackled electric, dangerous. He mouthed later, and my stomach flipped. Later came that night, in the shadows of the old equipment shed behind the stadium, where the scent of rubber mats and motor oil hung thick. He was waiting, back against the corrugated wall, arms crossed like a barrier. "We have to stop this before it starts," he said. But his voice was gravel, and when I closed the distance, he didn't push me away. Instead, his hands found my waist, pulling me flush, and we kissed again, slower this time, exploratory, like mapping uncharted territory. I tasted the conflict on him, the salt of his guilt, but beneath it was fire, pure and consuming. "Tell me to walk away," I breathed against his neck, nipping the skin there, feeling him shudder. "I can't," he admitted, fingers digging into my hips. "God help me, I can't." We didn't go further. Not yet, but those stolen moments became our addiction. Hurried touches in the film room after hours, whispered confessions in his truck parked on the outskirts of town, where the corn whispered secrets to the wind. He told me about his college days, The pressure to be the all-American boy. The hookups he'd buried deep. I shared my own. Nights in the trailer with my mom working doubles, hiding crushes on teammates behind punches and pranks. Felt like flying, like we'd cracked open the sky. But cracks spread. Sarah started showing up at practices, her belly rounding out, hand possessive on Nathan's arm. The team whispered about the new assistant coach, a hotshot from Columbus with eyes for the starting lineup, me, specifically. And then there was the championship looming, our redemption game against Rivorton, where one wrong move could end everything. The betrayal came subtle at first, a shadow in the periphery. During a late-night strategy session in his office, door locked, his phone lit up with a text. I glimpsed it over his shoulder. Miss you. Come home soon. Love. He silenced it, but the guilt etched deeper lines around his eyes. We should cool it, he said after, zipping his playbook like it could seal us away. For the team. For you. I nodded, throat tight, but walking out felt like amputation. Days blurred into drills and doubts. My throws wild, focus fractured. Jax cornered me in the dorms one night, beer in hand. Spill it. Read. You're off your game, and it's dragging us down. I almost cracked, almost told him about the man who'd become my everything in secret. But instead, I punched the wall, knuckles splitting, and muttered, just family shit. The real fracture hit 2 weeks before the championship. I was in the trainer's room, ice on a sprained ankle, when Sarah breezed in, all smiles and perfume. Caleb, Nathan's told me so much about you. You're like the son he never had. Her words landed like shrapnel, twisting in my gut. She chattered about baby names, nursery colors, while I nodded numbly, the ring on her finger mocking me. When she left, hugging me too tight, I bolted to the bathroom and puked, the betrayal not hers, but his for letting this charade continue. That night, I confronted him in the parking lot, rain slicking the asphalt like tears. A son? That's what I am to you. My voice shook, fists clenched. He looked wrecked, rain plastering his hair, jacket zipped to his chin. Caleb, it's complicated. She doesn't know. Complicated. I laughed, bitter as bile. You kiss me like I'm your goddamn salvation, then play house like nothing's changed. Who's the fraud now? He reached for me, but I jerked back, the space between us a chasm. I love you, he whispered, the words a grenade. But I can't blow up my life, love. It echoed in my skull as I drove away, tires hydroplaning on the flooded roads, heart hydroplaning into oblivion. The championship loomed like Judgment Day, and I threw myself into it, hours in the film room alone, waits until my muscles screamed, anything to drown the ache. Nathan watched from afar, his coaching sharp as ever, but the fire between us smoldered to ash. Game night arrived under a blood moon, the stadium a cauldron of cheers and chants, 20,000 souls packed into the stands like sardines in hell. Rivorton came out swinging, their defense a brick wall, but I was possessed, every snap, every spiral a middle finger to the pain. First quarter, touchdown. Halftime, 2 more. The crowd roared, "Read, read," like a war cry, but in the locker room, Nathan's eyes met mine across the chaos, a silent apology in the storm. Fourth quarter, tied at 21, 2 minutes left. The play call came, Hail Mary, deep post to Jax. I dropped back, pressure closing in like fate, and launched it, perfect arc, threading the needle. Jax hauled it in, diving into the end zone as time expired. Victory. Pandemonium. The team mobbed me, Gatorade showers, but Nathan hung back, pride warring with sorrow on his face. In the aftermath, as confetti rained and reporters swarmed, he pulled me into the shadows of the tunnel. "You were incredible," he murmured, hand on my helmet like old times. But I saw it, the resolve, the goodbye. "This has to end. For real." His voice cracked, eyes glistening. "Sarah's due soon." "I can't." "I won't hurt them." I nodded, the wind hollowing out. "Then go. Be the hero they need." But as he walked away, back to the lights and the wife waiting in the family box, I whispered to the empty tunnel, "Who'll save you?" The high of the championship faded faster than an Ohio winter dawn, leaving me adrift in the gray aftermath. Eldridge erupted in celebration. Parades down Main Street, bonfires on the outskirts where locals roasted marshmallows and swapped stories of glory days. But I moved through it like a specter, smiles plastered on for the cameras, handshakes with boosters who slapped my back too hard. Future NFL kid. They'd boom. Visions of scouts and contracts dancing in their eyes. But all I saw was Nathan's retreating silhouette, the echo of his "I love you," a ghost in my ear. Graduation loomed 3 months out. My degree in sports management a ticket out of this corn-choked purgatory. But the real escape was the tryouts I'd lined up in Pittsburgh Steelers camp. A shot at the pros if I could keep my head straight. Jax dragged me to parties, pounding beers and flirting with cheerleaders to get you laid, loosen up. But every girl who sidled close felt like sandpaper on raw skin. I faked it, charm on autopilot, laughs timed perfect, but inside, I was unraveling, threads of us pulling tighter in the quiet hours. Nathan avoided me like plague, his office door shut, practices delegated to assistants. Whispers rippled through the team. Coach Hale's taking paternity leave early. Something about stress. I caught glimpses, him in the stands at Little League games, Sarah's hand in his, or loading groceries into his truck at the Kroger. Domestic as apple pie. Each sighting was a knife twist, jealousy curdling into something darker, self-destructive. I'd crank the music in my beat-up Ford, Bruce Springsteen wailing about thunder roads and glory days, driving aimless until dawn streaked the sky pink. One night, unable to sleep, I found myself at the stadium, empty now, goalposts stark against the stars. The turf still smelled of sweat and victory, and I walked the sidelines, reliving plays in my head, but it always circled back to him. The way his laugh rumbled low during bus rides, how he'd slip me extra protein shakes after weights, claiming, "Gotta keep that cannon arm fueled." I sank onto the bench, head in hands, when headlights swept the lot, his truck, unmistakable with the Buckeye sticker on the bumper. He killed the engine but didn't get out, silhouette frozen behind the wheel. Minutes ticked, 5, 10 until I couldn't take it. I strode over, wrapping the window sharp. He startled, then rolled it down, face gaunt in the dash glow, stubble shadowing his jaw. "Caleb, what are you doing here?" "Same as you, I guess." Haunting ghosts. The words hung bitter, and he winced, rubbing his neck. "Sarah's asleep. Baby's kicking like a mule. Keeps her up, so I drive." A pause, heavy as lead. "You shouldn't be here." "We said Fuck what we said. Anger surged, hot and unbidden. You drop, I love you, like a bomb. Then ghost me? I'm not some side quest. Nathan. He climbed out, door slamming, and we faced off under the floodlight's harsh glare, breaths fogging the April chill. It's not that simple. His voice was wrecked, eyes bloodshot. She's everything good in my life, the stable, the right. You're the wildfire, Caleb. Beautiful, but you'd burn it all down. He stepped closer, hand twitching like it ached to touch. Every night, I dream about you. That locker room. The shed. And I wake up hating myself. The confession cracked me open, rage melting to ache. Then why fight it? We're both drowning here. I closed the gap, foreheads touching, his cologne wrapping around me like a lifeline. Run with me. After graduation. Pittsburgh's got room for two. He pulled back, torment etching his features. And what? Live in sin? My kid asks why daddy's not home. Laughter barked out, hollow. I'm 42. Caleb. You're 22. This town's small, people talk. My job. My marriage. He trailed off, shaking his head. I can't be that selfish. Selfish. The word stung, flipping the script. So I'm the selfish one for wanting more than scraps? I shoved his chest, but he caught my wrists, holding firm, and the fight drained out, leaving us tangled, breaths sinking in the night. His lips brushed mine, soft, tentative, and I melted, kissing back with all the desperation I'd bottled. We stumbled against the truck, hands roaming urgent, his under my shirt, mine in his hair, the world narrowing to heat and heartbeat. But headlights pierced the dark, a campus security cruiser, slow patrol. We sprang apart, guilt slamming back like a cold wave. He muttered, "Go," shoving me toward my car, and as I peeled out, tires screeching, I glimpsed him in the rearview, slumped against his door, head bowed like a man at confession. The next day, betrayal bloomed full ugly. Jax burst into my dorm, face thunderous, thrusting his phone at me. A screenshot, blurry photo from last night's stadium, two figures entwined by a truck. Hashtags, Eldridge Scandal Coach Gone Wild. Anonymous post on the local Facebook group. Speculation running wild. Is that Reed? What's Hale doing? My stomach plummeted. Someone had seen. Spied. Who the fuck? I snarled. Scrolling comments. Vicious. Small-town venom. Pervert coach preying on players. Fire him. Knew that fag vibe was off. Nathan called then. Voice steel over the line. Team meeting. Now. Deny everything. But his tone cracked at the end. Fear bleeding through. The athletic director's office was a war room. Nathan. Me. Jax. The AD. Even Sarah on speaker from home. Voice shrill with confusion. What is this? Tell me it's not. Nathan cut her off. Calm as a bomb defusing. Misunderstanding. Late night talk about plays. Shadows play tricks. The AD bought it. Barely. Suspension pending investigation. But no charges yet. Sarah's silence screamed louder than words. Outside, Nathan cornered me in the hall. Ice feral. Who sent that? You tell anyone. Like I'd out us. You paranoid asshole. I hissed, shoving past. But doubt festered. Who? A jealous teammate? Rivorton's spy? Or worse, someone close, like Jax. who'd eyed me funny since the championship. Isolation set in, a noose tightening. Practices halted for me. Cooling off, they called it, but it was exile. I holed up in my dorm, scrolling news alerts, fielding calls from scouts who smelled blood. Heard about the drama. Kid, keep your nose clean. Mom drove up from the trailer park, her lined face creased deeper, bearing Tupperware of meatloaf and worry. What's this about your coach? Baby, town's buzzing. Nothing. Ma. Lies. But she saw through, cupping my face. You ain't gotta carry it alone, Caleb. Whatever demons got you. Her voice trailed, unspoken understanding in her eyes. She'd lost Dad young, to booze and bad choices, raised me solo on diner tips. I cracked then, sobbing into her shoulder, the weight of forbidden love spilling out in fragments. She held me, humming old hymns, no judgment, just fierce mama love. Nathan reached out that night, text, not call, meet me. Bridge on Route 23. Midnight. I went, heart a war drum, the old covered bridge sagging over the swollen river like a relic from another era. He waited in the gloom, truck idling, face haggard. Investigation's bullshit, they got nothing but a shadow. But Sarah, she's leaving. Taking the baby, staying with her folks in Cleveland. The news hollowed me. Because of me? He laughed, mirthless. Because of us. She found texts, old ones, from before. Knew something was off. He pulled a flask from his coat, swigging deep, offering it. Whiskey burned going down, loosening tongues. I told her everything. About you. The feelings. My world tilted. And she's hurt. Furious. But she said, maybe it's a sign. For both of us. His eyes searched mine, vulnerable as a fresh bruise. I'm filing for divorce. Clean break. Relief crashed. Then terror. What about the team? The town? Fuck 'em. Defiance sparked. The old fire. I want you, Caleb. No more hiding. We kissed there, under the bridge's creek. River rushing below like applause. Hands frantic. Clothes shedding in the truck cab. It was our first time, raw, reverent. Bodies learning each other in the dark. His whispers of mine branding my skin. Dawn found us tangled, spent and sated. The world outside be damned. But betrayal's shadow lingered. The photo source? Jax confessed a week later. Guilt eating him alive. Saw you too. Thought it was wrong. Wanted to protect the team. His face crumpled. Apology tumbling out. I forgave him. Blood's thicker than suspicion. But the scar remained. Trust fractured like our small-town facade. Summer scorched in. Graduation a blur of caps and gowns. Nathan's hand brushing mine under the table at the ceremony dinner. Secret smiles our new language. Scouts called. Pittsburgh offered a free agent slot. And Nathan? He resigned, citing personal reasons. Rumors swirling but dying quick in the heat. We packed my Ford, his truck trailing. Heading west, not Pittsburgh yet, but a detour to the Alleghenies. A cabin rental for 2 weeks of just us. The drive was therapy, windows down. Springsteen blasting. His hand on my thigh. Stories flowing free. He opened up about his dad. The Marine who beat weakness out of him with belts and Bible verses. I shared the terror of my first crush. A teammate in high school who outed himself with a shotgun. laughter mixed with tears, forging something unbreakable. The cabin was paradise, log walls, stone hearth, lake view shimmering under July sun. Days blurred, fishing off the dock, Nathan's laugh booming as I reeled in perch, nights by firelight, bodies entwined, exploring slow and deep, his touch mapping scars I didn't know I had. "I love you," he said one evening, sunset gilding his skin, and it wasn't a grenade anymore, it was home. But conflict brewed subtle, a storm on the horizon. Calls from Eldridge, boosters pressuring Nathan for a comeback, scandal forgotten, Sarah texting custody terms, civil but cool. And me, the pressure of camp, the dream I'd chased since Pee-wee leagues, now feeling like chains. "What if I wash out?" I confessed one night, head on his chest. "Then we build something new." Together, Pittsburgh welcomed us with steel-gray skies and the acrid tang of industry, a far cry from Ohio's pastoral sprawl. But it felt like rebirth, anonymous streets where no one knew our story, no sideways glances at the grocery store. I crashed into training camp like a meteor, body honed from months of shadowboxing doubt, arm laser-sharp under the coach's scrutiny. "Reed's got that fire," the head scout grunted after my first workout, clipboard notes scribbled frantic. And for the first time since the bridge, hope flickered real, not haunted. Nathan rented a loft in the Strip District, exposed brick, river views, a kitchen where he'd burn pancakes but kiss me apologetic, flour-dusted and grinning. Mornings were ours, coffee black as his mood before caffeine, bodies lazy under sheets, his fingers tracing the championship tattoo I'd inked on my bicep, a stylized football cracked like a heart. "My warrior," he'd murmur, pride swelling his voice, and I'd melt, vulnerabilities laid bare in the daylight we once feared. He job-hunted quietly, coaching gigs at high schools in the burbs, even a whisper from Pitt staff. But the divorce dragged, papers shuffling between lawyers like reluctant dancers. Sarah was still joint custody, no alimony if he kept quiet about irreconcilable differences. Their daughter, Emily, arrived in August, a squalling bundle with Nathan's dark hair and Sarah's blue eyes, and the first visit gutted him. He came home hollow-eyed, smelling of hospital antiseptic, cradling a photo like fragile glass. "She's perfect," he whispered, and I held him as he broke, sobs racking the man who'd carried worlds. Jealousy nipped at me then, irrational but insistent, a green-eyed serpent whispering your second. Always. I'd watch him coo over baby updates, drive hours to Cleveland for weekends, returning softer, sadder. "You resent her?" I asked once, too sharp, after he'd canceled our anniversary hike, 6 months since the bridge, for a diaper emergency. His face shuddered. "Resent my kid? Jesus. Caleb." The fight ignited slow, embers to blaze, accusations flying me, for burying camp stress in silence, him, for prioritizing blood over us. "This is what you signed up for," he snapped, voice echoing off brick. "Messy. Real life. Not some rom-com escape." I stormed out, pounding pavement along the Allegheny, fists clenched against the chill, wondering if love was just pretty lies we told to survive. Reconciliation came raw, in the rain-slicked park by PNC Park, where he found me chain-smoking under a pavilion, bad habit from trailer days, dusted off in crisis. "I'm scared," he admitted, drenched and defiant, pulling me close. "Of losing you to this city, to the game that eats souls." "But Emily, she's innocent." I can't half-ass fatherhood. I nodded, tears mixing with downpour, and we hashed it. Boundaries, therapy, his idea. A counselor in Shadyside specializing in non-traditional families. Sessions unearthed landmines. His internalized shame from Bible Belt roots. My abandonment fears from Dad's ghost. But slowly, we rebuilt. Stronger, scarred but sealed. Camp intensified, cuts looming like guillotines. I made the practice squad thrilling, precarious, one step from the dream. Teammates ribbed me. Who's the silver fox picking you up in that truck? Daddy issues. Laughter masked the blade. But Nathan took it in stride, showing up to games in team colors, blending as Uncle Nate to the curious. Pride swelled when he cheered from the bleachers, voice booming over the crowd. But isolation crept, locker room banter turning wary when rumors of my lifestyle leaked from Eldridge alums. The real conflict erupted in October, leaves turning bloody on the hills. Jax called drunk, desperate from Ohio. Coach is back. Interim gig at Eldridge. Sarah pushed it, says he needs stability for custody. My blood iced. Nathan hadn't mentioned it. Too busy prepping for Emily's first Halloween. Confrontation hit at dawn. Kitchen steam fogging windows as I waved the email printout. Interim? You said no more coaching there. He sighed. Coffee mug midway. It's temporary. 6 months. Helps with the settlement. Shows I'm responsible. Sarcasm dripped, but defensiveness armored him. What? You think I'll relapse? Run back to the closet. It's not that. I slammed the counter, mug shattering shards like trust. It's us. That place, it broke us once. The stares, the whispers. And now Emily's there. Sarah watching like a hawk. Paranoia spilled. Visions of him slipping back. Late nights with old flames. Me sidelined in this steel city. He advanced, eyes flashing. You don't trust me? After everything, the argument escalated, furniture shoved, voices raw until he grabbed his keys. I need air. Door slammed, truck roaring off, leaving me in wreckage, sweeping glass with trembling hands, regret a bitter tide. Hours later, a knock not his. Sarah, unannounced, Emily on her hip in a pumpkin onesie, eyes wide and trusting. Nathan said, things are rough. Her voice was even. No venom, just weary woman to woman, or man to man. In this case, we talked on the stoop, baby gurgling oblivious, her sharing the ache of betrayal, me confessing the terror of loving someone fractured. He loves you, Caleb, she said finally, handing over a diaper bag. Fierce, like he loved football. Don't let fear win. Nathan returned at dusk, contrite, cuts on his knuckles from punching a bag at the gym. I took the job, he said, pulling me down beside him on the couch. But I'm coming home to you. Every night. We made love then, slow, healing, bodies a bridge over the chasm. His apologies whispered against my skin, my forgiveness in every touch. Betrayal's echo came from left field. The photo leaker? Not Jax alone. A booster's kid, paid off by a Riverton rival to stir shit pre-championship. Lawsuits settled quiet, but the scar itched, reminding us secrets fester. Thanksgiving loomed, a minefield of family. Nathan's folks, divorced, distant, declined invites, but Sarah's insistence on a neutral dinner in Cleveland twisted the knife. We drove, tension thick as turkey gravy, Emily's high chair a centerpiece of forced normalcy. His mom cornered me in the kitchen. Pie cooling on the sill. You make him happy, boy. Haven't seen that smile since college. Her hug was fierce, unspoken ally in a world of judgments. But the holiday cracked under scrutiny. Uncle's offhand, so, Nathan, when's the next wedding? Landing like a fumble. Silence stretched, forks scraping plates, until Nathan's hand found mine under the table, squeezed defiant. Soon as we're ready, he said, voice steady, and the room held breath. Sarah's nod subtle, a truce extended. Back in Pittsburgh, winter dug claws, snow blanketing the bridges, camp grinding to playoffs push. I started first game, lights blazing, crowd a thunderous sea. Nathan watched from the family section, Emily on his lap waving a terrible towel, Sarah beside him in uneasy alliance. The win was sweet, my pass sealing it. A 40-yard dart that had announcers crowing, Reed's redemption, post-game. In the tunnel's roar, he kissed me quick, public for the first time. Cameras be damned. Proud of you, he murmured, and it was oxygen. Yet doubt whispered, was this sustainable? The league's machismo. Small-town echoes in big-city press boxes. Custody battles looming. Therapy helped, Dr. Lena, with her no bullshit Philly accent, prodding, love's not a huddle play, boys. It's the long game. We planned. Rings after playoffs. A quiet ceremony in the mountains. Emily Flower Girl. Climax brewed in December. Steelers clinching division. My stock soaring. Agent calls for endorsements. Whispers of starter next season. Nathan's interim stretched. Eldridge begging permanence. Boosters waving cash. Stay. They pleaded over video calls. Be our legend again. Temptation gleamed in his eyes. The pull of legacy versus our fragile now. The night before Christmas Eve, he dropped the bomb. They're offering full-time. Head coach. With a house. Stability for Emily. We were decorating the loft, tinsel tangled. Lights blinking erratic. His words halting the ladder mid-climb. I'd commute weekends. But it's home. Betrayal surged. Fresh as the first. Home? Or the closet you crawled out of? Ornaments shattered as I descended. Face hot. You promised no more half-lives. He defended. Voice rising. For Emily. For us to build something real. Not this rented limbo. The fight exploded. Accusations of selfishness. Fears of abandonment until he grabbed his coat. I need to think. Door slammed. Snow swirling outside. Leaving me amid glitter and grief. Dialing mom in a sob. He's leaving me. Ma. Again. Christmas morning dawned brittle. The loft a tomb of half-strung lights and unwrapped gifts mocking from under the tree. Nathan hadn't returned. Phone straight to voicemail. Texts unread. And panic clawed my chest. Visions of him driving back to Ohio. To the life he'd half left. Playing like a bad highlight reel. I paced the riverfront windows. Allegheny ice-choked below. When Jax's name lit my screen. Dude, where's coach? Eldridge is blowing up. Booster meeting gone south. Guys MIA. My blood ran cold. What happened? Details tumbled. Heated argument at the country club. Nathan defending his personal choices against homophobic jabs. Storming out mid-negotiation. Sound familiar? Jax's tone softened. Heard he was heading your way. Fix it. QB. Man's all in, don't fumble this. I bolted, truck keys jangling. Coat half on, navigating slushy streets to the only place he'd go. our cabin detour spot, 3 hours east in the Laurel Highlands, a snow-blanketed refuge we'd claimed as ours. The drive was purgatory, wipers slapping rhythm against flurries. Springsteen's Thunder Road on loop, lyrics a lifeline. It's a town full of losers, and I'm pulling out of here to win. What if he chose loss? The ghost town? Me? Dusk fell as I crested the ridge. Cabin lights glowing like a beacon. Smoke curling from the chimney. His truck sat buried in drift, and relief warred with dread as I crunched up the path. Door ajar. Warmth spilling out. Nathan inside, huddled by the hearth. Emily's photo clutched, face streaked with tears and soot. "You came," he rasped, not looking up, voice a ruin. "Always." I knelt, prying the photo gentle, setting it aside. "Talk to me." Words poured then. His meltdown at the meeting, Booster's ultimatums. Take the job clean, or no deal. No distractions. Distractions. Me. The slur they'd spat, veiled but venomous, cracking his resolve. I told them to fuck off. Walked. For us. The admission shattered me, pulling him into my arms. His body sagging against mine, sobs muffled in my neck. "I'm done running," he vowed, fingers threading my hair. Pittsburgh. You. Emily on weekends. That's my legacy now. We made love by firelight. Tender, reclaiming, snow tapping windows like blessings, bodies a testament to survival, his whispers of forever sealing cracks. Back in the city, resolve hardened. He turned down Eldridge Flat, emailing resignation with a middle finger flourish. Grateful for the opportunity, but my path leads elsewhere. Backlash hit town forums erupting in vitriol. Old teammates texting shade. But support trickled too. Jax's beer-summoned intervention. Mom's care package of pierogies and pride flags. Even Sarah's quiet good for you over coffee. Emily gnawing a teething ring oblivious. Playoffs ramped. My role expanding, back up to starter when the QB tweaked his knee. Lights brighter. Stakes stratosphere. Nathan thrived in the chaos. Landing a youth coaching gig at a community center. Wrangling inner-city kids with the same fire he'd ignited in me. Evenings, he'd regale me with tales. Little Marcus through a spiral today. Reminds me of you at 18. Laughter filled the loft. Emily's visits a whirlwind of crayons and chaos. Her chubby hands smearing Unca Caleb on fridge art. But climax loomed. Inevitable as a divisional clash. AFC Championship. Steelers versus Chiefs. Heinz Field a cauldron of black and gold frenzy. 65,000 throats raw with renegade. I started. Nerves steel under pads. Nathan in the stands with Sarah and Jax. A makeshift family banner waving. Reed and Hale, unbreakable. First half grind. Turnovers trading like punches. Halftime. Down 10. Locker room a pressure cooker, coach ripping plays. Me nodding numb. Focus fracturing on the crowd's sea. Searching his face. Third quarter. Lightning. I dropped back. Blitz incoming. And zipped a slant touchdown. Jax hauling it in for 6. Momentum shifted. Crowd erupting. But on the 2-point try. Disaster. Safety blitz. My block slipping. QB sacked hard. Fumble. Chiefs recover. Return for score. Stadium groaned. My fault etched in neon. And as I jogged off, helmet hiding tears. Guilt crashed. This is what you get for dreaming too big. Overtime tied. Our ball. The call, deep post. 50 yards. Do or die. Line blurred, pocket collapsing, planted, wound, and unleashed. A frozen rope spiraling true. Jacks leaping over 2 DBs for the grab. Game over. Steelers to the Super Bowl. Pandemonium. Teammates piling. Gatorade baptism. But I scanned for him. Tunnel-bound. Legs jelly. He met me there. Pushing through security. Sarah trailing with beaming Emily. "You did it," he breathed, crushing me in a hug that smelled of popcorn and promise. Ignoring flashes. Sarah clapped my shoulder. "Knew you had it." The moment fractured time, family. Fractured but fierce. Under the roar. Super Bowl week in Miami was circus. Pressers. Parties. Endorsements flashing dollar signs. Nathan navigated it graceful. Arm around my waist in hotel lobbies. Coming out soft in interviews. Caleb's my partner. In life and the stands. Backlash hit. League execs side-eyeing. Conservative pundits foaming. But allies rose. Teammates toasting, "Hale yeah." Glad spotlights. Even Springsteen tweeting props. Emily babbled, "Super Bowl." In viral clips. Stealing hearts. Game night. Dolphins Stadium. Glitz and glory. Halftime show thumping. I rode bench, coach's call. Preserve for next. But nerves jangled as our starter faltered. Trailing 14-10 end of third. Fourth quarter. Injury timeout. Eyes on me. "Reed, you're in." Adrenaline surged. Huddle tight. Play call simple, screen to the back. Snap chaos. Line crumbling. I rolled out. Eyes downfield. And saw it. Seam route open. Receiver streaking. Improv throw bullet. Caught. 30 yards. Setting up field goal. Tie game. OT again, our defense stonewalls. Ball back. Final play, kneel down. Victory secured. Steelers champions. Confetti blizzard. Lombardi lifted high. But my trophy waited in the stands. Nathan. Pulling me into a kiss amid flashes. World watching. World shifting. Betrayal's final twist came post-game. Eldridge boosters. Sour grapes in hand. Leaked old emails. Nathan's indiscretions. Twisted into scandal redux. Custody petition from Sarah citing unstable environment. Court loomed. Ugly and American. Tabloids feasting on coach's queer comeback crumbles. We fought lawyers. Affidavits. Dr. Lena's testimony on our healthy dynamic. Emily's visits continued. Her giggles a shield. Sarah softening under truth's weight. I don't want her hating her dad. Settlement. Shared custody. No mudslinging. A fragile peace forged in deposition rooms. Spring thawed Pittsburgh. Our life blooming tentative. I signed starter contract, big money, bigger spotlight. Nathan opening a coaching academy for LGBTQ plus youth. Hale's huddle. Drawing kids from shadows. We bought a house in Squirrel Hill. Backyard for Emily's swings. Room for mom's visits. Rings exchanged quiet on a hike. Vows whispered to the wind. In chaos and calm. You're my line. But humanistic shadows lingered, not fairy tale, but flesh and blood fragile. One night, post-win party, Nathan confessed over whiskey. Sometimes I miss the simplicity, the closet's numb safety. I nodded, honest, and I fear the drop-off, the injury that ends it all. We held each other then, not conquering heroes, but men mending, love a choice renewed daily. Emily's third birthday. Cake-smeared faces. Sarah toasting to family. Redefined. As she blew candles. Nathan's hand in mine. I saw it, our climax, not the bowl, but this, quiet victories, conflicts navigated, betrayals alchemized to bonds. America, vast and flawed, stretched before us, lines redrawn, hearts unbroken. Years folded like well-worn playbooks, time blurring edges but sharpening essences. By 28, I was Steelers franchise QB, Super Bowl rings stacking too deep, endorsements funding scholarships back to Eldridge for trailer park kids like me. Nathan, 48, ran his academy full throttle. Hale's huddle a beacon for queer youth nationwide. Franchises sprouting in Cleveland, Columbus, even LA. Emily, 8 and fierce, split weeks between us and Sarah's, ballet recitals in Pittsburgh, soccer camps in Ohio. Her world a tapestry of love without borders, calling both homes without question. Our Squirrel Hill house evolved, Mom's garden out back, bursting tomatoes and zinnias, guest room for Jax, now a Rivorton assistant coach, ribbing us over Steelers losses, walls lined with photos, championship lifts, Emily's first steps between us, wedding shot from that mountain hike, simple bands glinting in sunlight. Life wasn't linear, arguments flared over schedules, custody tweaks, the grind of public eyes, but resolutions came quicker, therapy a ritual, date nights mandatory, diners with milkshakes, hikes where we'd fuck under stars like newlyweds. Conflict resurfaced in waves, humanistic tides. League politics simmered, conservative owners grumbling at our pride endorsements. A rookie QB outed mid-season facing death threats that had Nathan pacing nights, fists clenched. This world's still a minefield, he'd growl. But we'd counter, fundraisers, ally trainings, turning rage to reform. Personally, shadows crept, my shoulder surgery post-season 3, rehab a bitch that tested patience. Nathan's rock but resentment bubbling when I'd snap at his helpful tips. You're not my fucking trainer. I'd bite, then apologize over ice packs. Vulnerability the glue. Betrayal echoed faint. Ghosts more than ghouls. Sarah remarried. A kind accountant. No drama, but a leaked custody email chain stirred old pots. Tabloids sniffing for scandal. We lawyered up swift, but the sting lingered. Nathan's trust bruised. Why does it always chase us? He'd muse, staring at river lights. I'd pull him close, because we're visible. And that's our power. Climax revisited in autumn's blaze. Steelers chasing a three-peat. Division rivals nipping heels. Week 10. Prime time against Chiefs. Mahomes gunning for revenge. Stadium electric with rivalry hum. I was peak arm cannon. Read psychic but mid-second quarter. Blindside hit. Helmet to helmet. World spinning black. Concussion protocol yanked me. Tunnel lights blurring. Nathan's face materializing in the medical bay. Pale as death. Stay with me, he whispered. Hand in mine. Medics buzzing oblivious. Cleared for fourth quarter. Protocol be damned. Adrenaline my god. I returned. Crowd erupting like Armageddon. Down 7. 2-minute drill. Chains moving. Sweat stinging eyes. Final snap, rollout. Pressure mounting. Throw on the run. Pick 6. Interception returned for touchdown. Game slipping away. Sideline huddle. Coaches fire. My fault heavy. But Nathan's eyes from stands locked mine. Steady. Unyielding, you've got this. Overtime, our ball. No huddle. Heart pounding visible through pads. Play fake. Bootleg. Open man downfield. Spiral launch true. touchdown, win. But post-whistle, collapse, vision tunneling, knee buckling under phantom pain. Medics swarmed, MRI pending, career-ender whispers. Hospital wait was hell. Nathan pacing, Emily video calling teary, "Daddy okay?" Sarah arriving with coffee and steel. "Fight it, Caleb." Like always, diagnosis, grade 2 concussion. No structural, but CT shadow loomed, docs urging rest. Retirement talks surfaced, agent crunching numbers, league brass sympathetic but pragmatic. Nights blurred, Nathan holding vigil, his own fears spilling. What if you can't play? Who are we without the gridiron? Raw, real, we stripped bare. We're us, I insisted. The boys who shattered lines in a rainy locker room. Games just the field. Decision brewed slow. Humanistic, not heroic. Off-season. Coaching sabbatical. Trying analyst gigs. But the pull was magnetic. Pads calling like sirens. Preseason opener. Bench roll. Calling plays. Thrill vicarious but potent. Nathan beamed from stands. Emily cheering, "Go Unca Caleb." And in that epiphany, legacy not in stats, but seeds sown. Spring brought renewal, academy expansion. Joint book deal on love in the end zone. Our story raw and redemptive. Emily's bat mitzvah, Sarah's Jewish roots blending faiths, was pinnacle. Her speech, voice steady. My dad's taught me courage, dada with passes, poppy with heart. Tears flowed, family whole in fragments, betrayals buried deep. Yet drama's thread wove on minor, manageable. Eldridge reunion invite, boosters repentant, offering Hall of Fame nods. We went, hand in hand, town transformed or tolerant, old scars salved with handshakes. Nathan's toast, we lost here once. Found ourselves forever. Summer waned. My contract renewed. Player-coach hybrid. Innovative clause. And life settled. Romantic in mundanity. Lazy Sundays grilling with neighbors. Emily's sleepovers giggling late. Nathan's head on my chest. Murmurs of still mine. Answered with kisses. One dusk. Stadium empty. We walked the turf. Echoes of that first shattered boundary. 10 years, he said. Arm around me. Sunset bleeding gold. Worth every storm. I nodded. Heart full. Conflicts conquered not by force, but forgiveness. Betrayals to bridges. Love, deep and defiant. A humanistic hymn. Emily joined then. Soccer ball under arm. Race you to the goal. We ran, laughing, breathless. Lines blurred eternal. Victory in the chase. Epilogue whispers. Retirement at 35. Head coach at Pitt. Nathan assistant. Emily QB in college. But that's future's draft. Now, this is unbroken. American as apple pie with a twist. Queer. Resilient. Real. In the end, boundaries weren't shattered. They evolved. Redrawn by hands intertwined. Hearts synced in the huddle of life. And damn, felt like winning.